Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn on notifications as I'm sharing great contents for you always. Alright, in this video we will continue with API versioning. Let's continue to infrastructure section because we're going to implement our packages in this layer. Right click on it, manage NuGet packages, type here API versioning, and type as same as like this, please. ASP.Versioning.Mvc. This is the library we're supposed to implement. Let's install. After we implement this library, we're going to install another one. What was the name of it? Yeah, the API Explorer. This is the second one we're supposed to implement. Let's install this one as well. Accept. Yep, it's done as well. We can close it anymore. Alright, let's go to service register. Now we are going to build our settings. Now I'm just going to copy this method quickly, and only we need a service, so just delete the configuration and let's change the namings. It's going to be add API versioning, yep, and anything else I'm gonna delete here. And now I'm going to add API versioning, so let's add some options. First options is going to be default API version. If you just introduce your API versioning to your project, it's going to be a good option to add. So I'm adding new API version. I'm gonna delete the namespace because I like to using keywords. It's added now, perfect. Let's give just version 1. All done. The second one is going to be report. I'm gonna set this true. Basically, when you send a request to an endpoint, and if you're using Postman or somewhere else maybe support it, if you look the response and endpoints specifications, you're able to see this endpoint, which version are supported, and you're able to see these reports. And this is why we are adding enabling these report API versions to get some more information about the endpoint and about the versions, obviously. Okay, let's continue. The next one is what kind of versioning system are we going to use? Yeah, so it is going to be API version reader. If I remember, we can use URL segment, which I'm gonna use URL segment API version reader, but also you have able to choose header API version reader, and your version, if you choose that version API version reader, your version description is going to be located in your request header. Alright, but you can also use API version. Where is the reader? Yep. You can use this API version reader combine method, and you can add more than one method, and you can use combine system of API versioning. But I'm gonna delete all of them. We're going to continue with URL segment API version readers, and all done. Now let me change this design a little bit more tidy. Control KD, perfect. Now I'm going to add MVC because I'm using controller. Alright, so if you're using controller, you need to add MVC for versions. This section, let me open my package first. Where is my packages? Okay, API versioning MVC. This section belongs to API versioning MVC. Now I'm going to add a couple of something different, and they are going to belong the second library we added. Alright, now I'm going to add API Explorer, and we're going to add some options for this one as well, and it's going to help us how the versions are going to be seen on our Swagger document. Okay, let's add the option dot group name format is going to be like this. So the first we represent version, and the second we represent the number of your version. So it says much more likely v1 or v2 or whatever version is. Yeah, so this is just giving you the format. And the other option is, actually we are adding this one, but I forget what is that for. I'm gonna check the explanation now. Let's have a quick look. What will true also remove API version from the API description? Well, true if API version should be a substitute in parameters, otherwise false. Default value is false. Let me have a quick look again. Gets or sets a value indicating whether the IP version parameter should be substituted in view templates. Actually, these, I just have a quick look. What is that meaning? We're going to add versioning in our root. So I'm going to show you when it came to defining our versions in our controller. It just automatically giving the current version to our root. Alright, I'm going to show you when it came. Just keep your mind, it just auto replace the version number for your roots. Okay, and you can change your versioning format like this. For example, if your versions like version 1 point something like that, you can just change your versioning format, but I'm going to use this one because I'm going to use version 1, 2 or 3. It depends how you would like to use. Okay, our setting is completed. Now I'm going to register my private method to our actual extension services. Perfect, all completed, all settings are done and they're all registered. Now let's go to our controller and see what we can do. Customer controller. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I was meaning about that option. So now we have a v for version. Open your curly brackets, and there is a, we're going to define the version here. Okay, this technique just give the automatic value of the version for your root. Alright, this is how it's working. That option, if you remember, let's go back quickly. Yeah, that version, if we set true, it's going to automatically set the version of root is going to be set automatically. Alright, now let's define a version for our controller. Let's say my controller is API version 1. Alright. Okay, so it means our controller, our root is going to be now API slash version 1 slash controller name, yeah, I mean customers, and blah blah blah. It goes like this. Alright, let's delete it and let's run the application and see the results first. Then I'm going to show you, can we define more than one version in one control? Can we explicitly map an action method to another version of application? So I'm going to go step by step to solve those questions, and it will be perfect. Do not worry about it. Just calm down Okay, as you can see, our customer endpoint now have a version. So as you can see, v1 added for all of our action methods. What if I would like to add more than one version? What's gonna happen? All you need to do is version 2, and now which version, now the application doesn't know which version belongs to that version, so you just need to explicitly add map to API version says 1. For example, this endpoint, that endpoint is going to be version 1. Yeah, so let's take this one. I'm not gonna use create method. Let's go to get all customers. All right, I'm gonna add map API version 1, so I'm gonna create the same endpoint again. So I'm going to make this version 2. Let's make this v1 and make this v2. It doesn't matter what kind of name we have. Just one of them is version 1, the other one is version 2. Both of them is using same endpoint, but the only difference is one of them is v1, the second one is v2. Let's run the application. We're going to get error message on Swagger documentation because we didn't do any specification about how it's going to look like to customer, I mean the users, but on the background the all endpoints will they are all available. Actually, we didn't get an error message. This is weird as well. All right, let's try to let me look. Yeah, we're not able to see the version 2 actually, so we all just able to see the version 1, but I'm going to put a breakpoint to version 1 and the version 2. Now let's open the Postman. Where is the Postman? Open the Postman. Alright, let's open the workspace. Let's make a get request to get all customers. I'm just gonna execute it quickly. As you can see, the version 1 is triggered. We're not triggering version 2. I'm gonna just take the input. I'm quite a lazy person, I know that. Okay, let's type here. So if I make it version 2, let's see which endpoint is going to be hit. As you can see, the version 2 has been hit by our Postman. Perfect. Now I'm going to switch this to version 1 again. Yep, here we go. As you can see, version 1 has been hit by our request. Okay, let's stop the application now. As you can see, you can give more than one version in your controller, which I'm not recommended, and you can explicitly map a version using map to API versioning. Okay, I'm going to delete these things and let's make it back, make everything back perfect. Now all of them are version 1. Another thing, I'm gonna keep it as a version 1 as well. Another thing, instead of using just numbers, it's not best practice version. There is another way to use versioning. For that, I'm going to create a new class. Let's create a new class here. Just waiting. Come on, come on. Alright, let's give API version. Let's say versions or version. I think API version. I think version is better. Actually, the best practice is the plural one. Let's make it to versions, and let's make it a static class. public const string, let's say v1. This is the version 1, and let's add the v2. We don't have v2, but I'm gonna add it, show you guys. Okay, it's all set. Now let's close it. Now I'm gonna call my API version dot v1. So my API version is going to be version 1. Perfect. All endpoints is going to be version 1. Let's add these endpoints, all of them. So I'm going to use both of them for all endpoints. Let's go to invoices as well. Yeah. Let's go to products. Perfect. Let's run the application and see the results again. I'm just waiting my application to be built. Also, you can make your endpoints depreciated. I'm going to show you how you can do it. As you can see, all endpoints are versionized with version 1. Let me close this section, close all of them. Okay, let me have a look. Is there any, is it here? Yeah, there is a properties which is called depreciated, and if you say true, it's going to be depreciated. How can we edit? Let me have a look. Are we going to say properties? This is with, okay. Let me have a look. We put comma. Why it's not coming up? Yeah, depreciated is true. If you say depreciated, this version is no more, it says no more in use, and you can just put some commands or something to direct people another version of you created. Okay, so I'm not going to use depreciate now because these are only endpoints we created. Let's save everything. Perfect. What if I change the version of this invoice for version 2? What's gonna happen? Let's see what kind of result we're going to find out. So we have customer and products version 1, invoices control is version 2. As you can see, we have just customer and products version 1, but there is no version 2 here. When I check a definition, as you can see, we have just definition for version 1 we have. So if you would like to develop your Swagger documentation, you need to add extra options, extra settings to able to create a new documentation for other versions, because it's using just the settings we created. Let's have a look quickly. The settings we created, where is the solution explorers, infrastructure, service register? If you remember here, it's using the substitute API version in URL, so it's just bringing us the version, and basically it just showing us the default version which is defined in our controllers version 1. But if you select the other versions, as I told you before, you need to create a new documentation and yeah, for the other versions. Alright, how can we do this? Let's close everything first, save everything first, because all messed up a little bit. Let's close all tabs, minimize everything. Alright, first of all, let's go our API project and create a new folder. Where is my new, yeah, add new folder. Let's give a name open API. Now I'm going to create a new class underneath this folder. The name is going to be configure Swagger options at, yeah, it's going to be a sealed class, and let's inherit from I configure named options. Yeah, so we basically give a Swagger gen options as an options. Swagger gen options, perfect. Now as you can see, it is asking us implement the interface. Let's add the interface and see the missing parts. Perfect. So we have two different methods here right now. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, this is the string name. Let me fix a little bit. Let's use the vertical design. I'm going to delete this. Now I'm going to just call the other configure method directly. Yeah, and I'm going to give the options, which is came from my Swagger options. That's it. Basically, we have two implemented method comes from our configure name options, and the first method just consuming the second method. Now we're going to define the second method. The second method, guys, by the way, I'm looking my notes. It's quite a complicated and a little bit confusing method, and we just implement this class one time and you never touch it again if it's not necessary. That's because it can be forgettable, I can say. Yeah, so now I need to I guess we need to add I'm assuming we need to add an injection. Give me a second, let me have a quick look. Yeah, definitely we need to inject a module. So I'm going to use primary constructor, and let's add IAPI version description provider. It allows us to reach documentation, I'm assuming. By the way, I'm studying with you together right now. I'm just trying to understand underneath of these explanations and codes. So let's say provider, and I'm going to add these two field section. Perfect. So we have an injected description provider. Let's continue to define our second method. I'm going to use for each to iterate the descriptions located in this provider. Let's use for each. So let's say while descriptions in provider.api version descriptions. Perfect. I can delete those scopes because I only have just one line. So I'm going to use options comes from parameter, which is came as from previous method as a parameter. All right. Options dot Swagger document. As you can see, we have currently version 1 and version 2. So we just taking those descriptions using provider, and we are iterating version 1 and 2. Then we're going to create our Swagger documentation using those descriptions. So basically we just creating another page for version 2. Alright, now we're going to give the description, if I'm able to type it, yeah, description group name, and also we're going to it is asking us an open API info, right? So we're going to use a create. I'm going to create a method for it, but let's name it first. Version info. I didn't create this method yet. Let's give description as a parameter. Perfect. All we need to do is create a new Swagger documentation for new page. So we gave the description group name, and we need to give, let's have a look. It is asking us an open API info file. So we're going to create that info using this method. It's going to be a private method. Let's build this method now. It is going to be a static method. Let's make it public. Static method, and the return value is open API info. Yep. And the parameter is going to be, let me have a look, our description. Yep, API version description. We gave description, as you can see, API version description. Let's give API version description. Let's say description. Perfect. Let's use our curly brackets. Now we're going to create our open API info. Let's say var API info, and let's create a new open API info. Let's open our brackets. Let's have a look what kind of property we have. So we have title, version, license, accent, lots of things we have. So I'm just going to give title, and it's going to be, let's say, what kind of naming should I give? So this is a YouTube project, right? By the way, another thing, we are not just creating version 2, we are iterating both of them, version 1 and 2. So we are renewing the version 1 as well. So this title is going to be applicable for the version 1 as well. So we need to give kind of generic naming. So this is a YouTube project, right? Let's say YouTube.API. Version is going to be used like this. Let me have a look quickly. So we have description, right? Let's use the description dot. We can get our API version from here. Perfect. If it's version 1, it's going to be YouTube API version 1, YouTube API version 2. It's gonna change depending on which version are we in. So let's say the description now, sorry, the version is going to be description.API version.toString. It's going to work for us. Perfect. Yep. So we have an open API info object in our hands. But I'm gonna add one more thing. If description, actually description is not correct naming for it. Let's say but let's keep the description anyway. Description dot is depreciated. Okay, so I need to add another information. So let's go open, sorry, info. What is the name of it? API info. API info dot description. I'm just going to add a description if it's depreciated. Okay, let's use plus equal this API version has been depreciated. Perfect. All right, now all we need to do is return API info. Is there any problem here? Why we couldn't return API info? This open API info. Okay, we forget to give a name. Where is our naming? Create version info, right? Let's add it. It's my fault. Yeah, perfect. We just return the open API info. Perfect. I think you will understand. First, all we need to do is we just recreating the pages, and we're going to demonstrate all of them. I'm assuming you understand how we're doing all of this system. If you just struggle, if you struggle, just drop comment below the video. I will be happy. I will more than happy to investigate for you. Yeah, now all we need, add this configuration to our program CS file. Alright, all we need to do is, where's my, okay, this is API behavior options, add controller options. Actually, we can create an extension method for all of this as well, because it's becoming more crowded. So I don't want it to be crowded like this. So let's add this builder services, configure options, and we just gave the file we just created here, configure Swagger options, and yeah, it's basically registered. The rest of thing is going to be is development section. So we're going to make it run now. I'm just going to copy and paste what I did. So we're going to how can I say, we're going to add some options to Swagger UI. Basically the changes what I done, it's about the old Swagger UI. So we basically, as you can see, we added these options. So basically we get the old descriptions. As you can see, this is a list, I read only list. We get all API version descriptions as a list, and then we are iterating those lists, and we're creating URL name, and we are just publishing them as a Swagger endpoint, and we're able to use all those pages. Okay, let's try to run the application and see the results. So we have customer and products version 1, the invoices is version 2. Hopefully we're able to see a select list right top of corner of the page. Now we're able to select the version of the endpoints, and we're able to see all of them. Now I'm waiting my application to be built by Docker Compose. Here we go. So we have customer and products version 1. As you can see, we have a version 1 here, and we have a version 2. Let's click the version 2. Here we go. This is the version 2, and the description is YouTube API version 2, YouTube API version 1. This is how it's look like, guys. I'm assuming you understand what I'm trying to do, and I'm by the way, I'm really how can I say, I really appreciated to watching this video, because I'm still learning these new things, and I'm happy to share with you guys, and it's helping me learn more quickly, because I'm trying to teach you. This is how I'm trying to learn things, and I strongly suggest you, if you struggling to learn new things, try to teach someone else. Alright, I'm going to save everything, close all files, minimize everything. I'm going to finish this lesson here. I'm hoping you like the video and you like how I'm trying to teach you. I appreciate it if you crash the like button, and if you drop comment below the video, as YouTube algorithm working like that. If I have too many likes and if I have too many comments in my video, the algorithm brings my channel and videos much more visible to other users, and it really makes me motivated. Alright guys, see you on next lesson. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.